I've been in that spot where you get that one chance in an audition, you want to prove that you know it, and sometimes in that pressure you end up doing things little extra.
There is a certain amount of stardom that goes hand in hand with your physicality. To be on a billboard, you need to look a certain way.
It's fun, yaar. Maza aa raha hai. Which is such a big thing for me. You know, somebody like Pankaj Kapur telling me कि अच्छा हो रहा है यार, मजा आ रहा है.
Rajkumar, Bhumi, welcome to Spill the Tea, my show on Film Companion.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us here.
Listen, the two of you, this is only your second outing together.
Yes.
But I get the vibe that y'all are the best of buddies.
We are.
She's my best friend, yeah.
He's my sister. I'm his brother. That's the relationship we actually share. And all thanks to our first film, Badhaai Do, that we did together.
The most special Badhaai Do, yes.
So the expectations are there.
I mean, they should be, right? Because I feel like after our first outing, which was so loved and was such a special film, I think we are very fortunate to have kind of re-collaborated on a film like Bheed, which is as important, you know, as special, and gives us the scope to shine as much.
Yeah. But tell me, what are the pros and cons, and be frank, of working with your Sakhi?
You're my Sakhi.
Yes,
I
Sakhi.
love it.
There are no cons actually. It's only pros, I think, because you share that comfort level. You can talk about things, you can talk about the scene. There's no insecurity at all. That's even not there otherwise also. But I think there are only good things, nothing negative.
You know, I feel like when there is a true friendship, you know, in a working relationship as well, and I would say it proudly that Raj and I have gone beyond just being co-actors, right? He's my friend. I think that's what I identify with him as first. I feel like there's just such a safety blanket that you know, even when you tumble or like, you know, things aren't the best or you have a bad day, I know I can come and tell him that, look, I'm not having the best of days, but we'll sail through it. And you know, he would kind of give me that backing and he'd be like, it's okay, we'll like figure it out. Yeah. So I think that kind of makes it easier.
No, sure. And I was watching the trailer of Bheed and I kept saying, wow, wow, because every frame there was one terrific actor after the other. But it made me think, for two of y'all who are so invested in the realism of acting, what happens if that's not the case? Like, what if you have a co-star that's just out and out hamming? What do you do?
Tough situation to be in. Well, it depends. It also depends on the language of the film. If the language is such that you need to be little over the top and like how my character in Ludo. He's not somebody who's realistic that way. He's a notch higher than realism. So it depends on the language of the film. If the film is so real in nature, in that case somebody is hamming, then I think director has to, because I just give that one look to the director after a cut and like and we share that rapport. I share that rapport with my directors that we get it, and then of course we need to have a conversation that, you know, let's take it down maybe 10 stops lower.
For sure. I think for me, in many cases, if I just can't find that energy in a scene with a co-actor, and you know what happens is usually with somebody who's playing the protagonist, you've rehearsed, you find your momentum, you get it. But a lot of times people that come for smaller parts, it becomes a little tough over there and it's very tricky. So what I do is I'm like, okay, you know what, let's rehearse the scene. Let's talk about it. Because many a times, see, the thing is, we've lived with the film for so long, we know what the director's vision is. Many a times, like, you know, people that come for like a few days, they are unaware.
They've not got the
sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think at times it happens because I've been in that spot where you get that one chance in an audition, you want to prove that, you know it. And sometimes in that pressure, you end up doing things little extra. But once you have a conversation, but once you have a conversation, they're smart enough. That they get it. Okay. Yeah, I know where it's going wrong, and then eventually, because every small character matters in a film, because otherwise it breaks the belief. It's going very smooth. Suddenly, one character really stands out for some weird reason. It breaks your belief. So every character is very important.
Yeah. And you know, like even with performance, for example, if I'm in a scene and the person opposite me is maybe a few notches higher. But if I'm not reacting to his comedy or whatever he's doing, the scene's not going to work. You know, so you can't be a good performer in solitude. What your co-actor or whoever you're sharing that space with gives you is so important. for the totality of the scene and the film.
Yeah, and that
That's
brings
it.
me to that scene with you and Pankaj ji in the trailer, and I had goose flesh. Listen, the both of you finally together. How hard did you manifest this to happen?
Very hard.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the finest actors we have in the industry. And he's so versatile, be it comedy, be it drama, anything that he does is just perfect. I was very excited, very thrilled when I got to know that he would be playing this part. I won't say nervous, but I was excited, as a student of cinema, like somebody I've always looked up to would be in front of my eyes and I would be acting in a scene with him. And he is such a sweetheart as a person. He is so giving, and we had a lot of fun. I think he told me, I remember, he of course, we kept talking about the scenes and everything, but he told me in the, towards the later half of the film that, it's fun yaar, maza aa raha hai. Which is such a big thing for me, somebody like Pankaj Kapur telling me कि अच्छा हो रहा है यार, मजा आ रहा है.
Yeah. And Bheed, of course, takes us back to a rather traumatic time in all of our lives, for some more than others. You were so closely sort of tied into everything that you did to help
Yes.
at that time. Of course, you didn't know it then, but how much of that sort of helped you just get into the world of Bheed?
To be honest, the time when I kind of became active with whatever help I could lend and how much ever I could reach out to people was during the second lockdown.
Yeah.
The story is when, for the first time our country went into a lockdown, So the story happens then. And I feel for me, the way I was impacted by the script was that, at that point we heard of the migrant workers and their crisis. We had many people of the media that were on ground reporting, and we got a lot of information. But it was when I became a part of the script that I realized that I had a very third person point of view of what could be happening. Because I was safe in my four walls with my family, baking banana bread or doing whatever I was doing, right? So for me, the first lockdown was a time where I was recovering and reconnecting. But that wasn't the case with a large part of the population. So I feel there were definitely a lot of personal experiences that you put into every performance. But for me, I think it came from all the information that I had seen then, and also personal loss or loss around that we saw in the second lockdown, because that's when everyone was uniformly hit. So that was definitely channelized. Bheed, just as a film, in its spirit, is so special, because the film stands for hope. It stands for how humankind comes together in the darkest of times. And you find hope in places you don't even expect. It is a homage to, if you see, there are different characters, right? I'm a junior doctor. Raj is a police officer. We have people from different walks of life, frontline workers. We have people for whatever reasons that reach this particular point. So it's a homage to all those different people from different socioeconomic backgrounds that had to go through certain experiences. And it's an opportunity for the audience to be empathetic towards those experiences.
Yeah. And not to trivialize anybody's struggle, of course, but in a lighter vein, what is it that you absolutely don't miss having to do that you did during the lockdown?
Don't miss.
Yeah. क्या करना पड़ा to survive those days?
काम तो बहुत करना पड़ा.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
I had a very creative time actually.
Yeah.
First lockdown I'm talking about. Second of course, was very deadly and depressing and sad. But the first one we had this very disciplined routine where I would also attend some acting workshops online on this website called the Masterclass. And it was a great time. You dedicate time to work out and to reading, and then to watching, and then cooking, and sometimes just doing nothing. Just being with each other in your balcony and with Gaga, our dog, and for hours just talking, which is beautiful.
You also talked about how this sort of gave you an opportunity to reclaim the OG Raj because of the conversations you had with Patralekha.
Yeah.
Of course, Monica, Oh My Darling is in that direction, and Bheed looks like it definitely is as well. What has become non-negotiable for you now?
Something if I don't relate to, something which doesn't excite me. And people might say that, this is the one which would do box office numbers, and that's something which nobody knows. So I'm not interested in any kind of story for any other reason apart from that. I want to be part of this story because it is exciting, it is challenging. That's the only thing which I'm very, very sure about. That's the only thing I'm going to continue because I love it. You know, you give it 2-3 months of your life and then it eventually it releases. And if your heart is not there, it shows on your face that, you know, you're promoting the film, but you're very unhappy with it. And I don't want to go through that. It's a very painful thing to go through. It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah.
It started with Badhaai Do, of course, and then Monica, and then Bheed, and then there's Guns and Gulabs. There's Shri. Touchwood, as of now, it's going the way I planned it to. Again, not even planned, just that the very impulsive decision of, okay, I read it, I love it, it's a great maker, let's do it. Let's not think about what, when, how, why.
You know, I revisited this conversation that you guys did with Anupama Chopra 5 years ago. You guys remember?
Oh yes,
it?
of course. That
Yeah.
was maybe the first
With
time we shared
Ayushmann?
Oh yeah, three of us. Correct. I was
You
wearing
and
a
I think that's
beanie.
where you all became
God,
I
yeah.
was wearing a
Yeah, I mean, I think that was at that point
2017,
we didn't know
yeah.
each other at all.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other.
No, we
at
didn't know.
all.
We didn't know.
And
So
I'd like that.
It happened on Film Companion?
I think the inception of it happened.
Yeah.
On Film Companion.
No, but in that conversation, you talked about this pet peeve that you had where people have this perception that you can be an actor only if you said very, very, very thin. Today, you have washboard abs that are amazing, but has the perception changed?
I think I would want to rephrase it.
Okay.
You know, I feel like there is a certain amount of stardom that goes hand in hand with your physicality.
Okay.
Okay, and that has been the general perception, you know, where people feel that, okay, you know, to be on a billboard you need to look a certain way, or, you know, to get those top-notch premium projects you need to look a certain way. I would like to believe in my journey that has changed. The reason I am the way I am today was a personal choice. It was a health choice that I took after the lockdown, where I was
it
like,
looks
okay,
fab.
yeah, and why not? And I own up to it, you know, but am I doing it at the cost of my health? Not at all. It's taken me 6 years, you know, to be here, and for all you know, in 2 months, if I have a path that requires me to go back to maybe what I was in Dam Laka Ke I shall do it happily, you know, because I feel I'm an actor. It is my job to transform myself as much as I can to be as true to any part. And that's all I've tried to do my entire life. And, you know, I feel like I'm 7 years down, I've done 17 films, and I've realized that, you know, as Raj said earlier, I became an actor because I love cinema. I got lucky that my first film was Dam Laga Ke Haisha, and the next few films that followed. Every time I had a lot more courage to say no back then, which I feel I kind of lost in the middle.
Okay.
But I kind of found that again, I think in the last 2 years, where I was like, okay, I know what my value is, I know what my worth is, I know why I'm here to be an actor. I can't put myself in a position where somebody decides what box they can fit me in.
Because it suits them.
It suits them, and it's not okay. You know, unfortunately, we are actors in times where there is disruptive work happening, where I don't need to conform myself, my talent, or my belief system to a certain school that exists because I need to run my house, or I want to still be a part of cinema. I don't need to do that. There are filmmakers that see our talent. There are filmmakers that believe in us. I feel very proud today that, you know, there are roles written for us. You know, that's all I ever wanted. That I have a director who sits in front of me and he's like, I've written this for you, with you and my mind. And these are parts that are unseen earlier in our cinema. You know, these are parts that are bold, that need courage, and it gives me a kick, and that's why I became an actor.
Yeah. In that same interview, the both of you talked about how you try to lead as non-starry lives as possible, as normal as possible, because it's also fodder for the characters that you play.
Still do,
Yeah, but you know, I did an interview recently with Ratna Pataksha where she spoke about how she feels the biggest danger with the current lot of actors is the possible obsession with vanity vans and entourages. Do you also see that as... And
I think we can talk about ourselves and not about anybody else. In our case, I think I know Bhumi that way, that I can say that she can easily live without her vanities.
But can it take you away from your craft?
Not at all.
I feel the problem, I don't think it's just about a vanity van. Sorry, Raj, I'm cutting you off, but I feel like strongly about this. I think it is more about how disconnected you are from the world outside. Okay, I could be sitting on a chair in the middle of my set and still not speak to anybody. You know, or I could be in my van that I use to get ready. You know, everybody's views are respected, but I feel like with every generation, it's up to us how we want to stay connected with our craft, how we want to stay grounded. You know, for example, when Raj and I have done 2 films, we would only use our van to get ready. Or I would only go into, it was my secure space when I wanted to do my lines, when I was prepping, you know, and I feel very, very fortunate that we have that kind of a space that maybe many people, you know, in earlier generations didn't get, you know. But having said that, between shots, we were always on set, you know, and that's the difference. Like, we would go speak to it. It's about creating a democratic environment around you. That's what keeps you grounded. You know, and
no, and even you talked about how just getting your boarding pass yourself and how that also gives you the opportunity.
Like I still go and eat my puchkas at the stalls outside in an open market. I don't want to stop living my life just because I'm an actor. What would happen? Just some people would come and ask for a selfie. That's okay. You can do that much. Because they love you, they want a selfie. Why not? But for that you can't.
As well, no?
Yeah, for that you can't stop living your life. So I'm very happy. I still don't like when I walk and I see 10 people, and then why there are so many people for these promotions in my room, and I can just come and do my thing and go, and nobody's here to kidnap me. Nothing gonna happen. Don't worry. Yeah. I think it depends on eventually what she was saying, that it depends. It's each to his own. Yeah. You can be in your bubble and have your yes men around you, and then not connect to the reality and the realism on what's happening outside that bubble. I think you need to be, and we are not that people. We are very much connected to what's happening in society, in cinema, internationally, nationally, in the world, and that keeps you, I think, sane. That keeps you, that's growing as an actor, as an artist, as a human being. That's very important, to be connected to what's happening around you.
Yeah, and I also love the passion with which you say in the trailer, "Haan, mujhe hero banna hai." I'm curious to know, is that still that conventional mold of hero? Is it still the excitement, or are you having great fun redefining the hero?
No, the subtext of it is very different. When you see the film, you would know. It's not about the film hero, as we say. It's about something else. It's much more. It's very layered. It's deep in a way.
But I'm asking about the film hero.
Film hero, I don't know. I never really used this term hero all my life. No, you'll never see any of my interviews saying, you know, मैं इसमें हीरो का रोल कर रहा हूँ. I don't like this term hero for some reason. I never thought growing up कि मुझे बड़े होके हीरो बनना. I thought we all thought, okay, I want to be an actor. You know, nobody says what do you want to be when you grow up? A hero. What is hero? Like for me, I said it time and again. For me, heroes are people on our borders. You know, protecting us. During COVID, people how we saw that, you know, going out of their ways and helping people. Those are heroes. We are actors. We're not really heroes. It's a very colloquial term that people use now. But if I ever go for a meeting and somebody start the meeting saying कि sir जो हमारा hero का role है ना वो ना, I get very put off. Nothing against anyone. I'm sure it's habitual. But I personally get very put off using this term hero.
Yeah. Another line that stayed with me was Aukaat ka boundary. It's just very powerful. But I want to ask you guys, as some outsiders who've cemented their space in Bollywood, are you ever reminded कि यहाँ पे boundary है, ये औकात से बाहर है?
हम लोग ऐसा कुछ करते ही नहीं कि कोई हमें हमारी औकात बताए. We are very happy in our world. We have, I have my 3-4 friends who are not really from the industry. I have Patrulekha and she has me, and we live in a very small, happy world. And then I have really good friends, close friends, Bhumi and Harsh, my director of Badhaai Do, and so many others, Amar, Raj DK, Love, Hansal sir, Anubhav sir now. And we're very happy in that small world. We are not really trying to be somebody else, that, you know, people should notice me also. See, I'm also wearing these clothes and nothing. We go, we do our job, we are very happy on set, and we come back and we live our life. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's a lovely way to look at it. Yeah,
absolutely.
And finally, in all the Bheed of content that we're seeing now, what will set Bheed apart?
The story. I think these characters, the story, the dialogues. Anubhav sir is known for his writing. Because he invests so much of time in writing, which is such a good thing, because I think that's the most important tool of filmmaking, your writing aspect. and he invests months and months. He's the only director I've seen, you won't believe. Every day he would go on set in the morning and he would read his whole script.
What?
Yeah.
Every day he would read the whole script. This is phenomenal because he
Yeah.
he is really passionate about cinema.
But why? Like,
Because he
That's
just wants
his
to see the flow
process.
is going fine, the graph is looking fine. I shot that scene today, yesterday. Let me see, it's coming there. But before that, this happens. He's just reading it every day, which is phenomenal.
And also, what's amazing about him is, and something I really appreciate, he's constantly evolving as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
He's constantly learning. You know, he also empowers people around him, you know, especially like a younger lot that might be coming in of budding filmmakers. And he learns from them. And that's why you can see his cinema has only gotten better with time. You know, with every film that he churns out, it's something special.
yeah.
You know, whether it goes right or whether it goes wrong is different, but at least as a lover of cinema, you know, the movies that I grew up watching, the reason I'm an actor today, I was missing that in the middle. You know, I was like, I just want to watch a good film. I want to feel inspired, and his films inspire me, and I think Bheed is definitely gonna be a very, very special film in his filmography.
Yeah.
And in yours as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for chatting with me, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
making the films that inspire, because God knows we need that today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
so
talking to
much.
me.
Hi, if you like Spill the Tea with Sneha.
Please subscribe to Film Companion.